Hello, welcome to Mox UK. I'm Adam the Gathering.
Adam the Gathering? Wait, who's Adam the Gathering? Are they related to Magic the Gathering? The first Magic player, Adam the Gathering.
Please, Jimmy, people already think I'm AI after the Wizards advert.
We are back in Ravnica. We've got a whole new remastered set of cards. I'm really excited to crack some packs.
Anyway, I am Adam the Gathering, a real human person, and today I'm just bringing you a bit of a different video. Totally planned, and not because I messed up the recording of the most recent LGS video.
We are back. Today I'm in Norwich visiting Athena Games. We've messed up our travel, so we're dropping from this last round.
But I thought I'd give you a little tour of my blinged out Kenrith deck. It's been an ongoing project since the Kenrith was revealed, actually, even further back than that, where I have been adding to the deck as I open cards, buy cards and whatnot, and slowly bling it out. It's reaching a point now where it's very bougie and it's nearly done. There's a few cards left that I need to replace with some bling, and then it's going to look exactly how I want it. So the Kenrith deck started actually before Kenrith was even revealed. I bought the C19 Commander Precons, all four of them, had a bit of fun playing them, but wasn't really gelling with any of them. So I was looking for something where I could slot all the best cards from all four together. Kenrith was then previewed for the Throne of Eldraine, and I was like, this is perfect. This is a card for me. The original version as well with the Kieran Yana art. Stripped those four decks apart and melded them together with Kenrith at the helm, and had a lot of fun. From then on, it's just gone through improvement and update, new cards, blinged cards, and sort of cards that make the deck stronger. It's now reached a point where it's definitely my strongest deck. It's the deck I'm known for, which is really cool. I definitely signed more Kenrith than any other card, which is still bonkers to me that anyone wants that done, but hey ho, there we go. So Kenrith's been going through the process, and then they released the serialized versions with the new art. I hunted that down. I was looking for number one, which was found in China and was sold for like £10,000, or sorry, $10,000, which is nuts. So I managed to get my hands on number 96 of 500. Very happy with it. Someone in the UK, up in Huddersfield, and then it's just gone from there. I've been going about getting cards signed. Got to go to Barcelona as a content creator and get a load of cards signed there, which was really cool. So cards that were sort of not necessarily anything good or anything special, now blinged out without having to buy anything new, which is really handy. So today I'm going to take you through what the deck is, how it looks, how it plays. Yeah, hope you enjoy. So the deck itself is incredibly versatile. It's built to take on whatever game plans are at the table rather than having its own. Because of Kenrith's 5 abilities, you can pretty much do whatever you want to do. The main thing I'm always trying to do is get some creatures out of the graveyard for cheap with that bottom ability. But gaining loads of life, drawing cards, trying to do it on other people's turns as well, to really capitalise on those advantages. The deck can absolutely pop off with ease if it's allowed to. If people are removing Kenrith, then it obviously will struggle. But even then, it's come back in some real sort of tricky situations. Also, a little thing that people don't consider is Kenrith's ability to say target player rather than you. So you can be quite political with it, make allies, help someone out with some card draw, help someone out with haste, and sort of gain some life for someone. It's really handy to try and get your opponents to start targeting each other and take each other out with your benefits. So always important to bear in mind. Let's start with mana. Kenrith is 5 mana to cast and is often removed, so that command attacks will often stack up. The abilities themselves also are quite expensive, and you want to do multiple activations in a turn. So being able to ramp quickly to get Kenrith out before anyone can do anything about it, ramp so you can start activating as many as you can early on is quite handy. It runs the typical tutors for lands. You've got Cultivate, Kadama's Reach. Tempt with Discovery is a really underrated card in this deck. Most of the time people are going to go and grab an extra land and get you some more. So being able to go and get the colour fiction you need for a 5-colour deck is definitely my favourite one in there. Creatures that sack to go and find you a basic are really important in this deck because of the recursion with Kenrith. You just activate the last ability, get those creatures back. Things like Secure a Tribe Elder can absolutely pop off, bring them on every turn, and keep ramping. Really, really useful. A few mana dorks in there like Birds of Paradise, just to get that extra variety of colours, basically. It can be easy to get tripped up. The mana base itself, the lands, is quite well tuned. A lot of shock lands, a lot of fetches, a lot of the triomes and lounges and whatnot from different sets. So really well tuned to ensure that we're hitting that mana nice and consistently. On top of that, loads of rocks that are really useful. Mox Amber, really handy with the legendary stuff in there, and a few other, you got the Soul Ring, you got Arcane Signet. On top of that, some really key pieces are going to be things like Smothering Tithe, Dockside Extortionist, and Ragavan. I know those cards do extra things, but being able to get that extra treasure, extra mana, especially the creatures again, that will often get removed because of the advantage you're getting, you bring them straight back with Kenrith. Really, really good. Colouring Ritual's quite nice as well. Wiping a load of small things, getting all that extra mana, and then you can use Kenrith to bring back anything that was important to you that was lost. Okay, let's talk about the important cards for Kenrith. To me, there's 3 types of cards. I run 2 of each that really enable Kenrith to live to his full potential. Firstly, cost reducers. I run Biomancer's Familiar and Zerda. I know there's Agatha as well that's recently come out in the Wildsvale Drain that I need to include, but those cards making Kenrith's ability cheaper is nuts. Being able to pay 1 white to gain 5 life, I'll easily have 2 or 3 white mana a turn, so 10, 15 life per turn is just taking you so far ahead of your opponents. On top of that, the next key step is untapping at your end step or on your opponent's upkeep. So Seaborn Muse, Wilderness Reclamation are the cards to get out as soon as you can. To pair with that also nicely is giving your cards flash. So Leyline of Anticipation and Vidalcan Orrery. If you can get one of those, one of the Seaborns or Wilderness Reclamations and one of the cost reducers, and you're laughing. It's going to be very difficult for your opponents to do anything without some sort of big board wipe. Secondary to those enablers are sack outlets. Especially for my game plan of bringing things back from the graveyard with Kenrith's ability. If I've got a way to dump those creatures in there, then we can get them out sooner, we can loop things a lot quicker. Altar of Dementia, Ashnod's Altar, and Dina the Soul Steeper are the 3 that I run. Dina is another interesting card for me. I pulled this one serialized, was super happy about it. Going straight into Kenrith. Both the altars not only allow you to sack creatures, but they're also giving you benefits from the sack. So the extra 2 mana from Ashnod's Altar helps to pay for the cost to bring the creature back. This will create some loops, which we'll talk about later. And Altar of Dementia, milling cards, it's just helping you fill the graveyard. We might get some extra creatures off the top of the library in there, and then we can start bringing those back as well. Okay, so those are the key cards, but how do we find them? The most important thing here is tutors and card draw. I'm running 6 tutors actually in this deck, which is quite a lot. Things like Demonic Tutor, Enlightened Tutor, Worldly Tutor. The Enlightened Tutor is in there specifically to go and find that Wilderness Reclamation or the Leyline of Anticipation, even things like Smothering Tithe. Card draw wise, we've got Rhystic Study, Mystic Remora, things to get with that tutor as well. Consecrated Sphinx, which I managed to pull in a nice foil borderless alt art thing at my first Command Fest, so it's nice to have those cards in the deck that have a little story as well. Even things like Scroll Rack are there to just try and find me or get me through the deck and find those cards that I need as soon as possible. So you get Kenrith out, you get your key cards out, you're drawing, you're gaining life, you're recurring creatures. Obviously you're going to be a target. So it's really important to have plenty of protection and prevention, if anything, to keep Kenrith around, to keep those key pieces on the board. You can get them back, but being able to just stick them and stop any attempts at removal is really important. I'm actually only running 2 counter spells. I've got Fierce Guardianship and Dovin's Veto, purely because you need some. I'm not much of a counter spell player. I prefer to let everyone play a bit of Magic, and if you can remove my stuff and you find the piece, then fair enough. But with that in mind, a couple of counters to basically stop other people winning is the main thing for me here. Then I've got some removal stuff like Cyclonic Rift and Vandal Blast to try and clear some stuff, Chaos Warp, Path to Exile, and then just protection from myself. So Ghostly Prison does quite a bit of work, being able to phase yourself out with Teferi's Protection, trying to sort of chuck on some Lightning Greaves as well, because obviously that's going to be in your average commander deck. One of the key cards for removal for me is Liliana of the Veil. It's got the target player sacrifices a creature, which is quite handy. The other thing it also has is with each player discards a card. So I can use Lily early to put some massive creature in the graveyard and then bring it back out with Kenrith. So people kind of ignore that one and think it's just there for removal. So once you've minused it, they'll leave it alone. That's how Kenrith plays, but how does it win? I like to keep my options fairly open with different outlets for winning. Torment of Hellfire with a load of mana in it is really good, especially if you can cast it with Flash and you're using Seaborn Muse, so you can tap some mana, untap and tap some more, dump it all into Torment of Hellfire. That's a big win. Warstorm Surge is really important if you're chucking creatures back from the graveyard to do damage when it enters. I really like to use Karthak the Merciless to sort of whittle my opponents down when they're having to think about whether they should cast their big spells or not. because they might take some damage or I might direct it elsewhere. That's really, really fun. The big win in this deck often comes from looping Dockside. If I can sack Dockside for some mana, bring Dockside back, make some treasures, so I'm net positive each time, I'll have infinite mana, I can do infinite card draw, infinite life gain, Warstorm Surge to just keep slapping that Dockside onto the table and pinging my opponents. That's the one sort of combo in the deck. Other than that, we're grinding it out and we're winning with advantage. Now, there is one card in this deck outside of Kenrith that I consider to be the absolute MVP. My opponents have complained more about seeing this card and also cheered for it simultaneously than any other card in the deck. It has saved me multiple times, it has won me games, and that is Spore Frog. This little guy preventing combat damage and then returning him every turn with Kenrith is an absolute game changer. You would think that such a small card couldn't do as much for you, but it will keep me alive and keep me going until I can find that win. And there's nothing funnier than looping Spore Frog and winning with Warstorm Surge, doing 1 damage at a time just to kill all of your opponents. And there you go, that's my Kenrith deck. I hope you've enjoyed it, I hope you found it insightful, I hope you've liked some of the bling in there. If you have your own blinged out decks, I'd love to see them, please drop them in the comments. Always excited to see what everybody's builds are. And if you have your own Kenrith deck as well, let me see that too. I think it's one of the most versatile commanders in types of deck I've seen. I've even seen Kenrith Shrines before, which was really cool, even one. So this just goes to show the power that Kenrith has as a commander. If you like this kind of content, let me know as well. It's something different from the usual channel. We'll be back with the LGS videos next month. I've got a few things lined up this year, including some of the Axion stuff that's in the works. We've got Amsterdam coming as well. So keep yourself in the loop. We'll see what happens with the direction of the content this year. I'm also going to properly be launching the Patreon soon. So there'll be a lot of benefits for supporting the channel, the usual stuff. There'll be a Discord, we'll have community nights once a month and all that stuff. So look out for that in the next one. Enjoy. Enjoy, that was a good ending. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed the video and I'll see you in the next one.